Hey, welcome to another episode of Media Talks TV with your host Tony J. Before I jump into this subject, I wanted to give a thank you for the people who watched the previous video. It's netted me 2,000 views so far, and I'm very grateful for people having this conversation about Tyler Perry's imagery. I want to thank my female subscribers as well for tuning in and subscribing as well. I've got a chance to go over your comments, and I'm greatly appreciative of knowing your perspective on Tyler Perry's movies, because this conversation needs to be had amongst me, you, and the entire black community about the devastating effects of Tyler Perry's imagery. Now, the video you see in the backdrop of me is Hattie McDaniel. I know a few of you remember Hattie McDaniel. She's very well known for playing in Gone with the Wind. And I bring this up because black imagery matters. And even though she gained a lot of celebrity playing the characters that she played, you know, it came at a price, especially for African American women. Now, the other people, being in Hollywood is just another job for them. But for women, it could come at the price of their dignity, in a sense. And we all know the story of Hattie McDaniel and how she was treated. How she only got a certificate for her Oscar-winning character in Gone with the Wind. And how she had to sit in a balcony and couldn't sit with her co-stars. It's just the same as what we might find with Tyler Perry's imagery. We don't know what the effects will bring to us as black people. But anytime you see a black man in a dress, I mean, something has to be said. I'm not here to denigrate Tyler Perry, but some of y'all brought up in the comment section, what type of movies has Tyler Perry done of any value? How many Tyler Perry movies have we seen with the same outlandish caricatures? This outlandish acting and the insults and the tirades that he makes. He basically infantilizes black women. He insults black women. And I know you sisters must be offended by that type of imagery. And the problem that I'm often finding with Tyler Perry's characters is they do remind me of minstrel shows. I mean, think about it. I mean, is any of his stage plays any different from what black people have had to endure for over 100 years, the last 100 years. I know some of it might be humorous to you, but I don't find it funny. I don't find any of his characters funny. In fact, I like to make a point about one of the characters that he's always had, which was Mr. Brown. And Mr. Brown, he's kind of an interesting character in the sense that he's a buffoon. And most of the time, when I look at Mr. Brown's character, it kind of reminds me of Song of the South. Kind of reminds me of Rastus. Those are the type of imagery that I've often seen in some of his movies. I mean, let's check out a couple of clips. Let's delve into this. I'm gonna break it down in a couple of minutes. But I really want you to think, if you think about it, Lionsgate, that's a global company. It's not housed in the United States. It's housed in Canada. And Lionsgate is primarily the number one distributor of Tyler Perry's films, which means they go global. And when I say black imagery and how people perceive us matters, think about what a Tyler Perry movie being seen in a place like Japan or a place like Europe. Everything American movies do, it gets exported globally. So whatever type of imagery that Tyler Perry puts out, the world gets to see us this way. And then they start making the assumptions that this is how black people think or act or do certain things, even though we're not a monolithic group of people, right? But this is why I say imagery matters. And in this sense, all of the imagery, and when you think about it, all of Tyler Perry's movies are always directly tied to the black church. Why is that? You tell me what you think. You want to have a live discussion about this? We could do that. I'm open on all ears. But I just wanted to do a follow-up video comparing Tyler Perry's work to that of the Minstrel Show. I mean, if you think about it, you could call it Tyler Perry's New Millennium Minstrel Show, because that's exactly what it is. His characters are minstrel characters. I don't care what anybody says. You could disagree with me or not. You agree or disagree with me or not. They are minstrel characters. Mr. Brown is a minstrel character. He's no different than Mantan Moore, no different than Stepin Fetchit. I'm just saying. I'm going to run some clips for you, and you come to your own conclusion.
My wife and I live all alone in a country called nothing that this is just like more than that. Nothing, yeah, nothing got a spare one of them. This is, she really, I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but I just like, always think somebody trying to. Hey! Cut them monkey shines. How you expect a judge to win that croquet game with no solace in his stomach? Hey, Dusty, you done forgot the jug. The jug here. All right, you can't say I never told you now. Leaving somebody here with all this stuff. I bet she gonna blame me for...
Now let's take a look at Bo Willie for a minute because this was the first, like, if you think about it, this is just the first brutalizing scene that we've seen of black men that was portrayed by Tyler Perry. And you notice how Michael Ealy is always playing the the role of the evil black man in every movie that you've seen. Michael Ealy either plays a thug or he plays basically a brutalizing black man. And that's always been the type of characters that Tyler Perry has created. You know what I'm saying? So, when I first saw this in the movie theaters, like I said, I went to go see For Color Girls because everybody said it was good. I was dating this woman one time and she encouraged me to go. And, you know, I decided, I said, okay, I'll go check it out. I'm not going to judge it. But I said to myself, well, it's Tyler Perry's name attached to it. And, I said, let me go ahead and go see this film. And one of the things that I noticed throughout all the films, now I know this is based on the play. So I know some people are gonna say, well, this is not all of Tyler Perry's work. But here's the thing that how Tyler Perry took For Color Girls and bastardized it for himself. And that was when he put the whole down low black men in the whole thing where Janet Jackson's character at the end ends up getting HIV. And I thought that was kind of rough. So I was like, okay, well now it's Tyler Perry's work. We know it's Tyler Perry's work now. And when I saw Michael Ealy's character, and I did read the um Notazaki Shantae's original play, but one of the things, you know, when I was thinking about the movie, he Tyler Perry took creative license over this, and he made black men, like I said, the antagonist of the whole entire movie. There was no good black man in there in that movie. Every black man was evil. And of course, Michael Ealy is looked at as this monster of a man. So I just I sat there, I watched the movie in the theaters. This was around like December 2010. And like I said, it was a whole bunch of women in there with their boyfriends. And I saw the looks on all their faces. I mean, mean mugs all throughout the movie theater. And, you know, I just felt like, okay, are we that fucking horrible as black men? Are we that fucking horrible? Now I know there are some black men who have committed some of these egregious acts. There are news stories that have committed where a man has killed his children. But some of these stories are very rare if you think about it. We have had stories where women have put their children in ovens, women have driven off of uh driven into rivers and drowned their own children. You go back to the whole story about Susan Smith. Um, there have been stories like that all throughout the media, but yet they often get ignored. But the thing that Tyler Perry always tries to highlight, especially with For Color Girls, is this whole idea of black men brutalizing women. And I often looked at that as kind of like, it's kind of like what the, I mean, it's kind of like For Color Girls is kind of like an updated version of Birth of a Nation, where you try to animalize black men and criminalize them. Now, when we look at these images, think about who's going to be looking at these types of imagery. It's going to be white people looking at this type of imagery and thinking that black men are like this. And like I said, this is where the whole crux of the situation that the point that I have to make with Tyler Perry is that he doesn't realize the ramifications of his imagery and how he makes black men look. Because when white people look at these types of images, they think black men are animals. And then what does that feed into? That perpetuation feed into? It feeds into us getting shot by the police. It feeds into the frenzy of nightly news where we get these images of violent black men, and then you get it drawn out to you ad nauseum about how violent black men are. But you don't see the positive imagery that he creates. Because for him, it's all about emasculating black men. And that's the whole point of all of his movies, the emasculation of African American men. And even when I got out of the movie theaters and saw For Color Girls, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable with any of his imagery and still don't.